Yo, what's up YouTube world? It's your boy Carlos Blue Forche and you're watching the Charlie Brown Boxing Channel. This is the pre-fight analysis video for the up-and-coming WBA lightweight clash between Anthony Crolla and Jorge Linares. I'll get straight into the video. I'll start with the challenger, Anthony Crolla. He's having the hard task now of winning back his title, his WBA title that he lost to Linares. Before we get to that, I'll just give you a brief breakdown of his record. He has had 39 fights, 31 wins with 13 knockouts, 5 losses. He's been knocked out once and he's drawn 3 times in his career. He is 30 years old, orthodox. He's around about 5'9". They say 5'8.5", but he's about 5'9", or just under that. He has a 67-inch reach. Started his career way back in 2006, stringing together 7 wins against journeymen, winning all of those. He lost to a guy called Yusuf Al-Hamidi, and I actually remember that fight. That was at the Bolton Arena. I can't remember if that was on the undercard of an Amir Khan show, but I can't really remember. But I remember he lost to Yusuf Al-Hamidi. What happened? He lost on points in the decision where I don't think he had trained really properly. He had kind of underestimated Yusuf Al-Hamidi and taken it at short notice. He then won his return match, which was like a confidence booster against Robin Deakin, and then he fought Yusuf Al-Hamidi again at your call, beating him on points. He strung together another four wins before he fought Gary Sykes in his 15th professional fight. He lost that on points. He then put together a string of 10 wins. In that time, he fought in his 21st professional fight. He fought for the vacant English super featherweight title, and then he moved up to lightweight. He fought for the vacant British lightweight title against John Watson, and then defended it. He had 2 fights after that, like kind of keep busy fights, and then he fought Willie Lement for the British lightweight title. He lost to Derry Matthews of Liverpool. He lost at the Oldham Sports Centre. He lost his British lightweight title and was knocked out. That was his 3rd loss of his career, and he showed quite good strength to come back against Stephen Jennings. Then he fought Gary Sykes after that in the prize fighter tournament. He fought Stephen Jennings, in the prize fighter tournament. He got through to the quarterfinal. Then he fought in the semi-final to Gary Sykes, where he lost. I was a bit surprised that Anthony Crolla actually entered the prize fighter, because I thought that he didn't. I mean, he had a few losses anyway, but it wasn't like he didn't have that kind of career where I didn't feel it like he actually needed to be in that tournament, but he did go into it, and that was good for him. I think he hooked up with Eddie Hearn, and since then he's had a very, 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 very good career. So Anyway, he lost to Gary Sykes in the Prize Fighter tournament. He hatched up a kind of relationship with Eddie Hearn, and he fought Kieran Farrell for the vacant English lightweight title. He won that unanimous decision. Then he fought Derry Matthews again in a kind of return match for the vacant Commonwealth title. That was a draw over 12 rounds. It was a split decision, but it was a split decision draw. One judge had it either way for either fighter, and one judge had it a draw, so it was a split decision draw. He fought Gavin Rees for the vacant WBO Intercontinental lightweight title after that, winning that by majority decision. He fought Stephen Foster, knocking him out. He then fought John Murray. That was a very good fight, WBO Intercontinental lightweight title fight. Then he fought a guy, he sort of had a step up, and it was a good step up in class, Gamilel Diaz. That was a draw because Diaz couldn't continue after an accidental head clash in that fight. I remember that, and there was a cut above his right eye. Couldn't continue, so that fight was given a draw. He then fought at the O2 Arena in Dublin, Ireland, fighting a guy called Georgi Missai Jr. That he won that over 6 rounds. That was just like a sort of get your confidence back fight. And then he fought Darlis Perez for the WBA world lightweight title. That was very good. That was at the Manchester Arena in his backyard. It's a very, very good for Eddie Hearn to get that fight and make that fight. It was a brilliant fight. 2 judges had it 113 to 113, and one of the judges had it 116 to 111 in favor of Anthony Crolla. But the scores initially in that fight, from what I can remember, were initially mistakenly announced as being 114, 113, and 113, 113, and 111 and 116. But either way, it didn't really matter. It was a draw anyway, a majority. So it was a majority draw, but it would have been classified as a split decision draw. Not that it matters, but that's what it had. Also, Perez had was persistently hitting Anthony Crolla low in that fight. Some people say that they weren't intentional. It was accidental. I think one or two of them you could have said were accidental, but I think he hit him something like 5 or no. I think it was like 5 times he hit him low, or 4 times. So I think that he meant to do it. But anyway, he was deducted 2 points for that. So that sort of cost him. So in the return match, he fought for the WBA World Lightweight title in a return match against Darlis Perez at the same Manchester Arena again. And this time round, he knocked him out in the 5th round. And it was a left hook to the body. It was absolutely brilliant, a brilliant victory for Anthony Crolla. Very, 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 very good victory. He then fought Ishmael Barroso, and knocked him out in the 7th round. That was a brilliant fight as well. He was KO'd again by a right hook to the body. Anthony Crolla really stepped up his game, I feel, from when he hooked up with Matchroom and his trainer and everything else. So that was really good. And then he fought Linares. And I remember at the time thinking, just after he came off the Barroso fight, that it was maybe a big step up in class for him. But I was thinking, like, maybe he should just, have had an easier fight. I was thinking that he should have had an easier defense, but I don't know what the situation was. But anyway, it was a big money fight. He fought Linares, and the judges had it 115 to 114, 115 to 113, and 117 to 111, all in favor of Linares. And I watched that fight. I didn't. I watched it live, and that was a really good fight. I thought Linares won that fight as well, quite comfortably. So anyway, this is the return match. Now this takes us to here. So what I'm gonna do is that I'll just go straight through to Linares. Linares has had 44 fights. He's won 41 times. He's got 27 knockouts. He's been knocked out 3 times in his 3 losses. No draws. He is 31 years old. He's 5'8". He has a 69-inch reach. And basically, we'll start. I'll give you a little lowdown about Linares. Linares is based in Japan. That's where his residence is. He's been there since 2002. So he lives a kind of, I don't want to say like a Spartan lifestyle, but it's very good in those lower weights to be in Japan. That's number one. But number two as well, the lifestyle, the food and everything else is really good in Japan if you want to maintain and have discipline. So anyway, basically Linares, right up till he won the vacant WBA Fedi Central featherweight title, he strung together 14 wins, 14 straight wins, all based in Japan. He fought at the Korakuen Hall, world famous Korakuen Hall, many times, which is like the Japanese York Hall. He fought there, stringing together a good 14 wins on the straight, and then he fought for that WBA Fedi Central featherweight title. It was against a journeyman called Jean Javier Sotelo. He then fought Jesus Perez of Venezuela after that, and then he fought a numerous number of kind of journeymen. It wasn't. He didn't really have. He stayed based in Japan till 2007. So basically, for 5 years, he had 23 fights and 23 victories, and it was everything was really good till then. And then he fought for the vacant WBC featherweight title, and that's when Linares really came on the scene. That was at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. He fought Oscar Larios, and that was a very, very good fight, man. He knocked him out in the 10th round of that fight. You can YouTube that one. That was a very, very good fight. Then he fought Gamaliel Diaz, knocking him out in the 8th round. That was just like a sort of gap filler. And then he fought for the vacant WBA super featherweight title against Weiber Garcia. I was surprised that Weiber Garcia was chosen as the opponent to fight for that vacant title, but that's, it's good business sense. Linares has some good business people behind him. I tell you that. He's got a very, very good manager. He won that via technical knockout in the 5th round. He then defended the super featherweight WBA title against Josephat Perez, knocking him out via technical knockout in the 8th round. Then came his first loss. He was handed his first loss. He was 27-0 coming into defending it for the 3rd time against Juan Carlos Salgado, and in that fight he was knocked down twice, man. heavily. He lost that via technical knockout in the first round, and that was incredibly. Juan Carlos Salgado was also unbeaten. He was 21-0, 20 wins and 1 draw. That was a brilliant fight. I've never seen something like that where a guy has that much sort of luck and that much skill and everything, and then he came. I don't know what happened. I think he was a little bit cold. I don't really think he took the fight seriously or prepared. I don't know what it was, but he was very, very stiff and cold coming into that fight. He wasn't warmed up, and he just basically paid the penalty for that. He then fought Francisco Lorenzo in a kind of, get your confidence back type of fight. He won that majority decision over 10 rounds. And then, he had a few interim fights after that. He fought for the WBA. I forget what it is, man. It's the WBA. It's the Latin lightweight title against Rocky Juarez. He won that at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino again. He won that over unanimous decision over 10 rounds. And he then fought Antonio DeMarco. He had a few wins after that. And then he fought Antonio DeMarco at the Staples Center. I thought that was a very, very good matchup. And a very good fight as well. That was a huge step in class for him, and that was for the vacant WBC lightweight title. That was a hard fight for him because he'd just come up to lightweight, and he was just making that sort of name for himself at that weight, and that was very good, man. He won that. He lost that, via technical knockout in the 11th, but that was still a very, very good fight, man. Because leading up to that technical knockout, he was down on the scorecards, but he was making a good fight of it. He then had another fight against Sergio Thompson, and that was a WBC lightweight semi-final eliminator. There was some sort of tournament, four fight tournament that he was involved in. Linares was knocked down in round 2, and he was unable to continue because he had a cut above the left side of his eye, right on his left eyelid. That was a very, very, very dangerous cut. So he lost that fight, technical knockout. That was his 34th fight. So, he was, 31 and 3 by then. He then stripped together, I think it was 5 wins, and then he fought for the vacant WBC world title again. He just has a way of coming back, Linares, and overcoming. And each time he comes back, he seems to regroup and get better. His strategies get better. Everything gets better. He's a little bit like Crolla in that sense. So I can see what makes this a really good matchup. But anyway, let me get back to it. He won the vacant WBC lightweight title against Javier Prieto. He knocked him out in the 4th round of that, and then he defended it against Kevin Mitchell, as you know. That was a fight where it was he stopped Kevin Mitchell in the 10th round of that at the O2. I felt that the referee should have let the fight go on. Linares came into that fight 4 ounces over his initial weigh-in. I don't know why they made such a big deal about 4 ounces. It has to be 4 pounds, not 4 ounces. But he was 4 ounces overweight. It didn't really mean anything anyway. He still got to keep the belt. He was down in the 5th round, but he got back up, managed to regroup very quickly and adjust to Mitchell's style, and he managed to cut Mitchell over the left eye. And he knocked down Kevin Mitchell in the 10th before stopping him on his feet. So it was a good match. I thought the referee could have let it go on, but some people say that it was due to the cut above the left eye. I don't think it was that bad, but he beat Kevin Mitchell anyway and retained his WBC lightweight title. He then fought Ivan Kano, knocking him out in the 4th round, and then we got to the Anthony Crolla fight, which is the one I told you about before, in which he won and took Anthony Crolla's WBA title. So now we're both here. I'm gonna just give my analysis on who I think will win this fight. I think Linares is definitely a very skillful boxer, as is Anthony Crolla. I just feel that, to me, Anthony Crolla, if Anthony, it all depends on one thing, and that's the game plan of Anthony Crolla and how quickly each fighter adjusts to each other in the ring, how quickly they can do it and maintain and keep their strategy. I think if Anthony Crolla's got a good strategy, he could definitely win on points or knock out Linares. But it's going to be a hard task because Linares is quite silky. I've got it probably about 55-45 in favor of Linares at the moment. If I'm just looking at it, if I'm just looking at it from a technical standpoint, but I would like Anthony Crolla to win. Definitely win a return match so that we get a rubber match, because the story of these two is quite good as well. But I just think the way that Linares is able to regroup, and maybe the fact that his residence is in Japan, is going to be a heavy factor. I think the fact that Anthony Crolla's in Manchester, I don't know how Anthony Crolla lives his life, but I know he's clean living in that, but I don't know if he's got any influences or any distractions around him. It all depends. This Saturday it's going to tell. I mean, the fight is literally from the time I'm making this now, I think it's about five days away. So, no, it's 4 days away, sorry. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Like I said, technically, I would have it down 55-45 in Linares' favour, but I'm going to go with Anthony Crolla by stoppage or on points, either one. I think more than likely it will be a points victory or a very late stoppage for Anthony Crolla. I think you probably stop him in the later rounds, probably 10, 11 or 12, with a body shot. And that's another thing as well. I think if Anthony Crolla's able to implement a body attack, not a Ricky Hatton style body attack, but a good boxing game plan mixed with a good body attack game plan, I think he wins this return match. So look, I won't waffle on. I've got it, Anthony Crolla. In and around the late rounds, 10, 11, 12, or on points. Let me know what you think anyway, in the comment section below. It's your boy Carlos Blue Forche. Have a good day. Bless.